Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Cameron from Tactical Trading Services, and as usual, I'm going to do a little market update. Just for fun, talk about what I'm looking at, see kind of how the weeks went, um, just what's going on. So, everybody's time is precious, so let's get right into it. So, let's look at the S&P 500 on the weekly time frame. We had an up week this week after a little indecision last week. For the most part, on the daily, everything kind of sideways. We've been sideways for the last 2 weeks or so. Only coming up today to make a new all-time high right above. I mean, just by like not very much, a couple bucks from the last one that we had. So markets are looking good, okay? And we are either going to get a little pullback down here to test this 20 on the daily again, or we're about to really take off and see some pretty good upside. I'm bullish. I'm kind of gonna wait around a little bit to see what happens next week to see if we get that pullback. If we get the slightest little pullback, I'm gonna load up on some bullish plays because I think that we're coming up here and we're gonna test this mid channel price line here, which will probably be around 4,500, I would say, in the S&P 500. What was kind of surprising today was that let me pull it up. Was that the Nasdaq was down by about 0.5%, while everything else was up pretty good. But as you can see, the Nasdaq's been flirting with the top of this price channel for the last couple weeks here, and so if we was to get a pullback, maybe back down into a couple hundred points, that wouldn't be surprising. I don't anticipate the Nasdaq coming back and testing its 20 on the weekly, but 940, I'd be okay with that. I could see that happening. But this upper trend line on this channel is providing a lot of resistance right now. A lot of resistance, and we're really going to have to break past it, and it's going to have to be a run across the board between it and the Russell and S&P and everything else. So the same thing with the Russell. The Russell has been quite sideways, as you can see, for a long time, and that's slightly concerning because in a bull market, you really want your small caps to be showing strength, okay? As you can see here on the daily chart, we're below the 50 SMA. We came up and we tested it and pulled back into the close today. So it was resistance there, resistance in here. It failed as support right in here. So could we come back down here to this trend line that you see that I had drawn from way back here and just extended it over, and see how amazing it is how we respect those areas of support. And it just so happens that this trend line now coincides with the 200 SMA. So that's pretty fascinating in my opinion. I could definitely see the Russell shave off about 100 points and come back down here and form some support again before we get the next leg higher. I'm really excited for whenever we finally decide what we're going to do here. Now, yes, I'm bullish, but could we be on the verge of a larger correction? Yes, we could. That's very, very possible. Um, that is not out of the question. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're going to be actively trading and looking for some trades. Could we come all the way back down to 4,300? Yep, I think we could. And as you can see, that would line up really well with the 50 on the daily and the lower end of the price channel here. So there's a lot of these things that are lining up and looking possible. It's just going to be best to await those and just see kind of how things go. But I closed out a bunch of positions today that we opened up at the beginning of the week, and we held them. I think we opened them up on the 2nd, and we held to the today. So that was about 4 days holding time, and we made some pretty amazing gains on those trades. And I'm excited about taking those gains. So one thing, that is the overall indices. Let's talk about Tesla real quick. Okay, so Tesla is, everybody, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been tracking Tesla in a consolidation pattern. Okay, this big old long triangle that goes way back to December of 2020. All right, and it's just been consolidating and contracting and just coiling up, ready to go. I was originally anticipating another move back down into 500 to 550 where I was going to load the boat. Earnings came out and we were already testing this upper trend line here, and we decided to break above it. So a lot of times you will see this, and I'll zoom in a little bit. You will see the breaks of these upper trend lines, okay? And retail traders will jump on that and they'll start buying that, only to watch this come back down here and back test this trend line. And as you can notice, we popped, we started showing signs of distribution. Boom, today we was down over 2%. That's a pretty bearish pattern right here. These three candles, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Look, the 20 coincides with the upper trend line. Your 200 is still right there, really, really close. Okay, it could definitely test it on the daily. If you look at your weekly candle, that is a nasty candle after a pop. So what that's telling you is you came down here and you tested this 50, you popped above this consolidation trend line, only for people to take profit and close at the lows of the week. Okay, so that candle does not show a lot of strength above this consolidation trend line. But it's Tesla. We could wake up Monday morning and it'd be at 1,000. So whatever, right? I do anticipate it to come back down though, and test between 655 and 670. I believe is going to be some good levels for Tesla. Let's see here. If you've watched my last video, you've seen where I called this consolidation pattern in Apple. I drew these lines and said, hey, this is what I think is going to happen. And hey, it's actually working out pretty well. So this lines up with my theory that the markets pull back a little bit in the next week before we get our bullish spike, right? Apple is a major player in the markets. It definitely pays to pay attention to Apple. My consolidation triangle is working out really, really well from my theorized movements here. Let's see what we get. If we can come back down in here to 143, if we can get a test of 143 and down to 142 maybe, then that will definitely give me some room to open up some pretty decent bullish plays into the end of the month. So I'm going to be watching that pretty close. I think this is going to be a really excellent trade. This could be a real moneymaker if it works out the way that we think it will. And as you can see on the weekly candle, we just kind of indecision there, just kind of consolidating like the rest of the markets. What else? Let's look at it. Just a couple more here real quick. And then I'll let you guys go. There's really not a whole lot going on, just because of the way that the markets are shaping up right now. SQ Square, they had their earnings the other day, and they actually moved it up to like Sunday night or whatever they did. It's pretty crazy. And we had a pop. We have another conference call that happened yesterday, and so we popped, profit back to the LNREG, popped again on that conference call, and then we had some profit taking today. I want Square back here to 250. If Square gets back to 250, there's so many zones that will line up with. That will line up with good support across the board here, as you can see by this price level. That will line up to a back test of this consolidation trend line. This will line up for your 20 on the daily. I mean, it will line up really, really well. If we get back to 250 and it follows the markets like what I think is going to happen next week, then I'm definitely going to be opening up more plays on Square. Square is a good name to play with there. So what else can we look at real quick? Netflix is still consolidating. I've had this channel drawn for so long now. If you would have came back here to last summer and put on an iron condor to this summer, you would have been making some bank. I want to see Netflix come back down here and test this, and then I'll catch the ride back up again. So it's looking good. It's looking constructive. It's definitely a candidate for theta positive, delta neutral strategies that we employ here at TTS. It's really good to make money no matter what an underlying does, right? So that's what we like to do. Like to generate income and just make things happen. Microsoft, it's the same deal. Okay, we've been up here all-time highs. We didn't make a new one. We struggled today, but we came back up and we closed at the high of the day for Microsoft. But I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. I want to see it. If Microsoft pops, it'll take the markets with it as well. It's another pretty big player in the game. So keep your eyes on that. The hourly looks pretty good for a test, at least in the 291 maybe. That would be a new all-time high. So there's going to be some real thick resistance there, and we're going to have to get the markets on board and push it up. So I believe that's what's coming in our future. So it's just important to be patient and let the trade come to you. But yeah, so that was my quick market analysis on Friday afternoon going into the weekend. As always, if anybody has any charts or anything that they want me to look at, just shoot them my way. You can find us on Facebook. We got a Facebook group in there. I will post the links to our Facebook, and if you want to come and join our service, we offer 1 week free to try us out, see if it's something that you feel would be good for you, and will make you some money. And if not, cancel. No hard feelings. Whatever, it'd be all right. So, as always, if y'all need anything, just hit me up. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you and happy trading.